Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about chemical weapons in the Syrian conflict. There's been a lot of disinformation and confusion in the information realm on this heavy topic, so I thought I'd help and navigate through the fog of all the static out there on this very important issue. First, the big news. An independent watchdog group called the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW for short, has concluded that Syrian regime forces loyal to Bashar al-Assad were responsible for a series of chemical weapon attacks in a Syrian town called Al-Tamine in late March 2017. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo praised the OPCW report, saying that the US government agrees with its conclusions and believes that the regime of Bashar al-Assad is responsible for atrocities that, quote, rise to the level of war crimes. The OPCW's recently released 82-page report detailed how a specific unit of the Syrian regime's air force that was under the direct authority of Bashar al-Assad himself was believed to have been responsible for the March 24th and March 30th, 2017 sarin gas bombings in Al-Tamine. In addition, a Syrian regime helicopter was also believed to have dropped a gas cylinder on a hospital in Al-Tamine on March 25th, 2017. The Assad regime has been launching these chemical weapon attacks in this area as the regime attempts to capture towns along the strategic M5 highway that links the capital Damascus to Syria's industrial hub in the north, Aleppo. What's so significant about this report is that it directly implicates and names the Assad regime as being responsible for the use of these deadly toxins against defenseless civilians. The Assad regime's Syrian Scientific Research Center and an elite unit known as Unit 450 were also implicated in the production and distribution of the chemical weapons that were then used on unsuspecting civilians. According to reports, the head of Unit 450 is one Brigadier General Bassam Hassan. He was behind the 2013 sarin gas attack that killed over 1,000 civilians, many of them children, in the suburbs of Damascus. General Bassam also directly reports to Bashar al-Assad, and after the 2013 sarin gas attack in Damascus, President Obama had drawn his now infamous line in the sand, only then to make a deal with Russia's Vladimir Putin, who in turn promised that Bashar al-Assad would get rid of his entire chemical weapon stockpile. Well, we know that that did not exactly happen. The Assad regime would restart sarin gas production soon thereafter and then begin to use the deadly chemical against the Syrian people. No action would be taken against Assad's chemical weapon capability until President Trump launched airstrikes and cruise missiles in 2017 and 2018 against the regime's headquarters for the Syrian Scientific Research Center and an airbase where the Assad regime's chemical weapon attacks were originating. Russian advisors were believed to be on the ground alongside the Assad regime forces during the military campaign in the vicinity of where the chemical weapon attacks took place in March 2017. Some US officials concluded that Russia knew in advance of Syria's chemical weapon attacks. One US official said that a Russian drone was flying right over Al-Tamine as these attacks were taking place. Hours after the Russian drone left, a Russian-made fighter jet bombed a hospital in Al-Tamine, where many of the victims of the chemical weapon attacks were given treatment. Some believe that this was an attempt by Russia to cover up the Assad regime's use of chemical weapons against civilians. According to data compiled by the Syrian civil society NGOs, the Assad regime has in total launched over 200 chemical weapon attacks against the Syrian people. The US Treasury Department has also designated and published the names of hundreds of complicit regime figures working for the Syrian Scientific Research Center. The door is now open for future war crimes prosecutions. And who knows, perhaps one day we could even see a Nuremberg-like accounting for Assad and his henchmen for the mass gassing of the so many in Syria that have yet to find justice for what has been done to them and their families.